Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. It is late on Saturday night. It is about 11:30 p.m. But I wanted to come and talk with you before I ended the day because I have a little bit to share with you. Today was our stitching meetup at the library, and we had 31 people there today. I was so excited. We had 4 young people there between the ages of 10 and 13. Lovely, lovely time. My friend Donna brought 3 of her grandchildren with her, and I had the privilege of teaching one of them, reteaching her how to cross stitch. Donna had taught her some time ago, and unfortunately she had not been around her grandmother often enough or long enough to finish anything and forgotten kind of how to do it. And so today I asked her if I could sit with her and show her how to stitch, because I haven't had a chance to be with Donna's grandchildren very much, and they're so precious. So Miley was my student today, and she was great. She was very attentive, and she caught on really fast, and I was real impressed with how quick she even could determine on her own whether it was good to stitch a whole row across, and then come back versus 1 stitch or 2 stitches and then move on. She was doing really, really well. Good thought processes in her stitching. So when I got home this evening, I picked up the piece that I had been trying to stitch on today, and I put a few stitches in it, but not many. That's okay. But my pattern that I was working on today was Chubby B, and I took it with me for 2 reasons. One, it's one of my daily 30 acrostic letters for the J for Jeanette Douglas. And I had also decided I was going to use it for the letter U for this undulating vine that's here. Thank you, Lori, for that word for you, because I have a hard time finding something for you. And so I have a coupon that I earned last month for a 200 stitch discount. So I stitched 135 stitches or so, ran a thread out, and stopped and took a picture so I could post it. And I used my coupon and did the U. And then I kept stitching on it until I finished it. And so that gave me another 534 stitches. I only needed 300 for another letter. So I hit 2 letters in my daily 30 today with this one piece. I'm so excited. And here's my finish. This is such a cute piece, Marissa. Thank you. Marissa had gifted this to me on our trip when we got to meet up with her and in Charlotte, Prince Edward Island. And so we started it together. I had started working on the bee, and I had the bee almost finished when I started on it today. But so I started on the vine actually this morning at the stitching meetup, and when I came home, I stitched it up. I finished it. So I stitched most of this minus the bee today. And so you can do one of these in a couple of really good stitching sessions, or maybe, a weekend you could finish one of these. So cute, cute, cute. Love it. Really love it. I think it's precious. So I can't wait, because tomorrow I'm going to Zoom with Marissa, and we're going to stitch together, and I can show her my finish. And I think she's finished hers too. So I think she beat me finishing it, but I can't wait to show her that I was able to finish that. So that's great. So you know what that means. That was one of my goals as well, to finish Chubby B. So I marked that off today. So out of my 7 goals I set for myself in June, I have finished 5 of them. It's going well. I will say the next one is daunting. The next one is Haunted Mansion. So I'm a little concerned about that, because there's a whole lot of stitching in that, and beading and everything else, and I'm probably not going to do it in one session. I'm probably not going to start working on it and just stitch on it till I'm done the way I've been doing this month, because I knew I was pretty close on the others. This one's going to take a while, so I'm more than likely going to stitch on it for a while. I'll set a goal for myself, and I'll meet that, and I'll put it away and stitch on something else, and then I'll go back to it again and stitch on it again, probably before the end of the month. But it's just one of those things I would love to finish this month if I can, but you know, I've got other things I need to do as well. So I've hit the first 5 that were really ones I wanted to get done, and then I came up with these 2 kind of wish list items of the Haunted Mansion and another page finish on 13th Colony. We'll see. Those are kind of lofty goals, and I have all this other stitching I need to do for prompts. So tomorrow's little bingo call for me is Carla's Choice. My friend Carla, that I met in North Alabama at the North Alabama Stitchers Retreat last year, and we've been staying in touch, and she's one of the people that run the Alabama private little bingo group for our table from the retreat. She chose spring at Hawk Run Hollow. Well, I just finished a whole square on Hawk Run Hollow, but you know what? I need to start the next one, and I don't know how much better I could get an incentive, you know, to do that than to have to put 100 stitches in it tomorrow morning for, you know, my bingo game. So that'll be good. It'll make me put some stitches in it to officially start that square, so I don't have to put that off, you know. I don't have to wait till I'm in the mood to do that. So that actually is good timing. I'm kind of grateful that happened that way. So I'll do that hopefully first thing once I get through with my church obligations tomorrow. So probably after lunch before I get started on it. And then after, I'm only going to do the 100 stitches or whatever is closest to that if I have to run out of thread or something. And then I think I'm going to look at my prompts and see what else I need to stitch on and pull something that I want to work on for another prompt. And sort of like I did before, where I worked on something in between one of my goals that I had set for myself. So we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. That is, I think, the majority of the news fit to print. I got a chance to talk to my son today. He called while I was at the library stitching. It was probably around 3:30 or 4, and he checked in, and he was off work today, so he had been doing a whole lot of things around his house and around town, and he just wanted to check in and make, you know, tell me that he had a good time when we came for our visit, and that he's enjoying his job and things are going well, and it was a nice check-in. He wanted to, you know, check on how we traveled home, and because we just texted and said we're home, and he you know, that was it. So it was the first time we talked since we visited, and we kind of had a nice time recapping some of the fun that we had over that weekend. So that was fun. Okay, Coco's already gone to bed. She gave up on me and went in there. I think she's sleeping on the ottoman in the living room because she's upset that I didn't go to bed with her. But I'll go do that now. So we'll get her situated. I hope that I have some stitching to share with you tomorrow, and I hope that you get to stitch tomorrow. So have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. It is Sunday, June 9th, and I'm here to give you an update on my stitching. Well, my bingo call for today was Hawk Run Hollow. It was my friend Carla's choice, and out of 3 possibilities that I communicated with her about, she chose spring at Hawk Run Hollow. Now, neither of us knew I was going to finish the page that I was working on before her number was called. But as I said in my little segment yesterday, this is not a bad thing because it makes me get started on the next section, and I don't know when I would have otherwise. So here's where I'm at. I've started on the one with the turtle doves, and words are easier to stitch, so I started right in the top corner on that first word, and I stitched only 105 stitches because I only needed 100 for my bingo game. And what that got me was the big T in the beautiful block of yellow. That was 105 stitches all total. So that didn't take long at all, and it was easy to do, easy stitching. And so I've got it done now. I'm gonna put this away. I've already posted it in my Facebook Messenger thread that we post in. I'll put my pattern away, and I will be pulling out something else to work on today. I hope you have a great week. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be back as soon as I have more stitching to share with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 10th of June, and I'm here to tell you about my day, my stitching, and what I've been doing. And let's start with the stitching, because that's what you really enjoy, I think, the most, but you're kind enough to let me tell you about my life as well. So today, my little bingo game called for a whip go called Whip, and the whip go call, one of the numbers was All You Need Is Love. I had already stitched on it. I'd already met the requirement, but since it was a whip go item that had been called already this year, I wanted to go ahead and stitch on it. The other whip go calls I had, they're already finished. I couldn't stitch on them, so I had to go back and get a previous whip go call. But that's okay. It's a Coure E Battacoure pattern, and I think it's a Valentine's pattern. I like it a lot. So here it is. Now today, I started out in a bad way. I didn't mean to, but I put this in a Q-snap, and where this little heart is, that's where I had stopped. I had this little thing and the heart. None of this was here. And so I looked at my pattern and saw the heart on the end and said, oh, I'm ready to stitch this down the side. And I came right over here next to this heart, and I stitched this whole piece down here in the wrong place. And then when I went to count over to start this heart, I realized, wait a minute, this isn't right. This is too close together. So I pulled it back out of the Q-snap. I looked at my pattern again, and sure enough, I had not done this little part of the border, and I hadn't done that heart. I was thinking that heart was this heart, but it wasn't. And this was over here, and it was too low, so it really would have messed up my pattern down the road. I'm so grateful that I saw that when I did. I'm so glad that I counted over here and noticed that it wasn't right. Woo! So I pulled that out, I frogged, and then I went and I put this in and the heart, and then I was able to stitch that over again. Now, I didn't count the stitches of the first time that I frogged out. I didn't worry about it. I didn't count those. I just tell you that because I'm so grateful that I noticed it before it was too late, and that I didn't make an even bigger mistake down the road that I was gonna really have to rip a lot out. I would have been very upset. So after I got that corrected, I did stitch this heart. It's the first heart of the 3 balloons, the heart-shaped balloons that this little girl is holding, but it was the next thing highest. And so I went ahead to do that, and I'll just do that and hopefully do her and come on down and finish this, and then I can do the boy, and then I can go on across. So cute, 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 cute. Love this, and it stitches up really quick. So total today was 166 stitches. I only needed 100, but I didn't quite have 100. I only had 70 before I did this heart, and the heart's 96 stitches. So that's okay. I wanted to go ahead and get the whole heart in there. So I did a little extra, and that's okay, because every little bit helps, right? But that is my bingo call for the day. So that's my stitching. Well, I'm gonna get back to reorganizing a little bit up here. I want to finish that today. I have a friend coming to stitch with me tomorrow. I'm so excited. I have not seen Melody in about a year. And so we live over an hour apart, and she used to come up for the Saturday stitch-ins, you know, at the library. But she's coming up, and she's gonna stitch with me, and I sent her a menu today because I went to the store today, so I have food to cook. And I sent a menu to her and said, how does this sound to you for lunch tomorrow? And she said, great. And so I'm gonna cook us a lunch. It's one of those things, I'll pre-cook some tonight, and then tomorrow all I have to do is assemble everything and pop it in the oven and cook it. So we'll be good to go. But anyway, that way we don't have to leave. We can just put everything in the oven, and when it's ready, we'll put our stitching down and eat, and then when we put that away, we can stitch. So we'll get a lot of good stitching time tomorrow and visiting, and I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you're having a great week, good start to your week. I feel productive. You know, I got some organization done. I got all the linens washed and back on the beds today, and I went to lunch with friends. So, I mean, that is a red letter day for me. It's all the things I love. I got to stitch, I got to play with my dog, and I got to go have time with friends. So, my life is full. Okay, I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. Thanks for letting me ramble on about what a great day I had. I was just excited about seeing my friends. And now I'm going to get busy and do some more stitching. I hope to have things to share with you later on. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, June the 11th, and I have had a fabulous day today. Coco and I have been on a couple of nice excursions today. I had a wonderful day today stitching with a friend of mine named Melody. We had not seen each other in quite a while. She has started going to a different stitching group simply because of how close it is to her home. It's a little over an hour for her to drive to ours, and she's got one just right down the road from her. So can't blame her for that at all. But it was great to see her. We had a lot of catching up to do. We hadn't talked in months, and not in person, not face to face. And so she came with stitching today, and Coco got to reacquaint herself with Melody, and we had a good day. Coco's right here at my feet, that's why I'm looking down. But anyway, today I did a bit of stitching, which is great since I have on my commemorative 2019 Stitch Fest shirt from a retreat that I went to in 2019. And I thought that was appropriate for today. My bingo call for today was to work on a whip that was closest to a finish. And most of my whips that were anywhere near close to a finish, I have finished, except for this one. This is one of my May Monday starts, Spring Awakens. And there's a lot of stitching in this. It's small, but there's a lot of detail. And so I'm stitching it in small batches. And today I stitched 118 stitches just to run my thread out, because I only needed 100 for my bingo game. Now, this whip is on my daily 30, so I will need to come and add another roughly 200 stitches to it to get 300. But for now, this is where it is. Thought I dropped something, but I guess I don't see it. So maybe, oh yes, I did. It's a color. I'll pick it up in a minute. Sorry about that. So here, let me show you what I did today, because you may not be able to tell that much because it's such little details everywhere. I stitched the bird that's in this cart. And I came over here on the bunny, and I stitched her cheek, her eye, the inside of her ears, and her nose. And then I came down here and I started the grass across the bottom so I could place the male bunny that is her friend, that is standing there with her so I can get him started. And then I can bring the grass on over here. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stitch all this around them or not. I like the look of it. I'm just a little worried about, do I have enough room on this little piece of fabric? But we shall see. We shall see. This stitch right here on the end of that green is the stitch that's right next to his foot. So I really only have that much more to go. My guess is I probably have room for it, and I can count it out and make sure. But I'm going to make this into a pillow. That's why I used this little scrap of fabric, because I knew I could have really, really close margins. But what I'm going to find is, even today when I was stitching on it, I was hitting the Q-snap with my needle some of the time because it's so close to the edge of what I can get on a Q-snap. But that's okay. I got my stitches in that I needed for bingo, and those I'm trying to do every day. And I went ahead and stopped because I want to get back to stitching on something that I've been stitching on while my friend Melody was here today. I wanted something that was easier to stitch. So I picked up my By the Bay 13th Colony, and I got quite a bit done. I got all the grass and sheep finished. I've gotten this water over here up to here. This is right where it stopped, right there. And so I've done all of this water and the ship today. So 556 stitches today. I did 595 stitches yesterday that I didn't show you. That was all this grass and sheep and a little bit of the water, maybe a little tiny bit of the water. Because, as you know, I want a page finish on this. So today, I'm thinking that I'm going to stitch on it some more. I'm going stitching at my friend's house tomorrow. Juliana has invited me to come stitching, and I'm going to go for a little while. And I don't know what I'm going to take yet. I'm going to wait and see what the call is for tomorrow on my bingo board, see if it's something I can carry with me. And if not, then I'm taking my 13th Colony and I'm putting more stitches in it. I'm going to keep working on it every day after my bingo call until the page is finished. I've made that my decision, so I'll be doing that. I may not try to finish Haunted Mansion this month. I may put that off till later in the year when it's fall. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not wanting to stitch Halloween right now. Stitching By the Bay, which is a summery piece, feels so much better. Spring Awakens feels good. And I didn't even have all my plans to finish it. So I think I may substitute Spring Awakens for Haunted Mansion and go from there. So, you know, it's my prerogative to change my mind if I want to. Anyway, my friend Melody came in today bearing gifts. She had an entire sack full of patterns that she either got from someone that were gifting to her that they were destashing, said if you don't want them, give them to somebody. Or they're things that she has stitched and she's passing them along to me to stitch. Or they're things in her stash that she purchased at one time and she's changed her mind and she knows she'll never stitch them. Either way, for whatever reason, I got a wonderful package today, and I've briefly looked through everything while she was here and thanked her, for that. But now I want to sit down and really go through and pick what I want to stitch so that I can put it in my stash before I start offering up any other patterns as door prizes at my stitching meetups or to my friends that might be looking for something. So that was a wonderful surprise today. I think that is most everything I can think of for stitching news. So I will let you get on to your next object of what you're doing or finish this video, and I'll just move along so that we can keep things rolling. But Thanks for letting me share my work with you today, and I hope you've had a great day as well. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 13th of June, and I'm here to let you know that I did get some bingo stitching caught up today, and I have plans to do some more stitching today, and I'll share that with you as well. So my bingo call yesterday was Nativity, and it was actually a choice. It was one of my North Alabama bingo group's choice. Lorraine from Lorraine's Rag Stitches USA. It was her choice yesterday. And so I was really working hard on a project, and I didn't want to put it down yesterday. And Nativity, I have to be in the right mindset to stitch the pattern. It's just very complex. So I was working hard, and I didn't want to swap my mindset. So I didn't. So this morning, before I got started on anything else, I did my chores. I took my friend Coco for her excursion this morning, and I sat down and I stitched on Nativity. Now, I only needed 100 stitches, and I had already decided I was going to do just as much as I needed so that I could get back to the project that I'm working on. But I am delighted to let you know I got 106 stitches in before I ran out of my thread and finished a color, so it worked out really well. So I'll remind you, this is the Nativity from Teresa Wentzler. That's the one I'm working on. And I had mentioned the last time I was trying to work on this sash and this wingtip. And I wanted to make sure that I got the sash in there because of all the curves. I can fix the wingtip around it if I'm off, but the curves are hard to manipulate. So I wanted to do the sash first. So today, all 106 stitches went into the sash. And that's where I got to. It was right here under the hand, just right under the hand when I started. So I've done these right here, this whole little section. And now the good news is it's low enough that I can come back up here next time and I can complete that wing and get that wing on this side finished, which I think will be great. And then the next section I need to get busy on will be finishing her headdress. And then, I'll come over here and work on this section. So I'm trying to work my way down. Once I get everything about right here, I need to go back up here and finish these borders, or I could do those next, but I need to get this part stitched up to the point where it's time for metallic thread and beads and things like that. I'll leave that to the end, but I need to get all the in the middle stitching done so that I can roll this up now when I'm ready to work down here. But I believe that I am I would say about halfway with the stitching, maybe slightly over halfway. I think the middle is right around in here. So I'm just getting started on the bottom half of the stitching, and there's a whole lot of it there because you've got the rest of their cloaks, and then you've got the whole manger. And the manger is covered in a beautiful swaddling cloth, so it's going to be a lot of tans and beiges, shading and things in there. So anyway, it's getting there. It's getting there. It'll be interesting to see how much work I get done on this in July, because I'm doing Christmas in July, and this is one of my Christmas pieces. And as of right now, my plan is to give about 3 days to each of my projects. And that leaves me just a couple of days at the end of the month, 2 or 3. And I think I've decided on a new start. And I won't share it with you yet. I want to keep you guessing. One of you knows, because we talked about it. I had been invited to do this new start with someone else. So I think it's a good idea. Anyway, that's what I'm up to today. Now that is just catching up bingo stitching from yesterday. So today's choice is selected by my friend Brenda. She's one of the North Alabama Stitchers as well, and she is the one who calls all the numbers for bingo in our private little group. And her choice is Haunted Mansion. So that's another tough one that I've got to get busy working on. And so I think I'm going to try to finish my other project today. And I will either do Haunted Mansion this evening if I get finished with what I'm working on before then, or I'll catch it up in the morning like I did today. But I've got to run and post this because I'm about to get on a Zoom call with a couple of stitching friends, and we're going to stitch and talk. So I want to get back to my other project because it's easy for me. It's fill-in. I'm just doing fill-in now. And so I could possibly stitch it easily while we're chatting. So I want to do that. I'll come back this afternoon and show you where I got to on it and tell you all the news fit to print. Happy stitching today, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back again. It's a little bit later on June the 13th, and I'm here to tell you some exciting news. I have finished my page on 13th Colony. I'm so excited. This was my 6th goal for the month of June, and I have done it. I have moved heaven and earth to make it happen. Actually, I have stitched and stitched and stitched on this page because there was a lot of stitching. It's one of the heaviest sections, this bottom section. And I went to my friend Juliana's yesterday and I stitched on it the whole time I was there, and I didn't do my bingo call until this morning from yesterday because I stitched on this all night into the evening. But I finished the page today, so I want to share it with you, tell you what my plans are going forward. So I'll first show you the section that I stitched, which is in here. So I picked up right at the edge of this mountain, right in here somewhere. The clouds were on the new page, so that gives you kind of the break right there. And I stitched all of that all the way over. Now you can see there are 3 columns right here on the other side of that tree that's actually on the page. I didn't stitch them here. And the reason I didn't stitch them there is that it's a color change. It's every like 2 stitches, change color, 2 stitches, change color, all the way down. So rather than frustrate myself to death by doing that, those colors start at the tree, at the bottom of the tree, where all this is. Those colors start there and just continue going. So the tree was a good break for me, and I just went ahead. I didn't want to run my thread all the way through the tree and then do 2 stitches. So I just broke that as if it was the page break. So there are actually 3 stitches wide through here that I did not stitch with this page. I actually cut them off of my pattern and taped them to the page, the next page. So it'll have a few extra stitches in it, but I think that's the better way to make it happen. But I really, really like this piece so much. So let me go back a little bit, show you the whole thing. This is the By the Bay 13th Colony part 1, 2, and half of part 3. So now what I have left to do is finish the top of the tree and then come down and finish the lake. And at the very end of the lake is another bank, and on top of the bank is a lighthouse. So that's what'll go over here, and it'll probably go to about right here or somewhere in there. Anyway, I think she's beautiful. I just love it. I love this piece. So My page finish is done. I'm excited. I have today's call for bingo yet to stitch, and of course, as luck would have it, today's Brenda's choice, and Brenda had chosen Haunted Mansion, which is another one of my more difficult pieces to stitch on, like Nativity. So I'm going to pull it out after I break here for lunch, and I'm going to get those 100 stitches in there. And then I'm going to decide what I'm going to stitch on next, because I have Zoom tonight, and I don't want to be stitching on something that's hard to see or hard to count while I'm on Zoom. So I'll have to pick out something else, but I want to get Haunted Mansion caught up so that I am current on my bingo before I Zoom tonight. And so I think that'll be great. I mentioned I was going to tell you my plans going forward. I'm going to make a change. My final goal that I had set for myself for the month of June was to try to finish my Haunted Mansion. But I'm just not in the mood to stitch Halloween that much. And it would take a lot to finish it like I've been doing on this one. So I would be stitching on it for days. I've decided to change that. And I think instead I'm going to pull back out my Spring Awakens, and I'm going to substitute finishing Haunted Mansion for finishing Spring Awakens, because Spring Awakens makes more sense to me to do at this time of the year. And so I'll still have a 7th goal. It'll still be a finish, and it'll still be a bit of a stretch, but it's going to be on Spring Awakens instead of Haunted Mansion. So that's my plan. That's my adjustment to my plan. I still also need to get another 200 stitches in Spring Awakens just for my daily 30 group. So that's important too. And I want to get that done. So I will, when I pull that out, hopefully for the Zoom call tonight, I can get my 200 stitches in, and I will have completed another letter in that acrostic, which will be great. So I want to talk to you a little more about Christmas in July. I have had so many of you comment that you're going to join me in some way or another. And I wanted to make sure everybody understood you can do it any way you want. I just want to, for me, I want to stitch on all of my Christmas whips, and there will be 8 whips and then a new start, because the new start is a berry. It's the berry for that month, and I have to stitch it. And that puts it up to 9. But if you do 3 times 9, you get 27 days, and there are 31 days in July. So that gives me 28, 29, 30, and 31, 4 days to do something different. So I think what I'm going to do, if I'm in the mood to do it at the end of the month, is I may have another new start. And that new start would be in one of my series. One of my viewers commented the other day, does your Christmas in July include one of your village ornaments, the full coverage ornaments that are in the kit my son gave me? And I've done 2 of the 6. I had actually thought of that and had thought, well, I've got so many Christmas whips, and I would like to finish some of them, and if I start a full coverage piece, that's even harder. However, I feel bad not stitching on one this year, because as it is, if I only do one a year, it's a 6-year time frame to finish them all anyway. So I'm thinking I may start it. So I'll have to go in there now and pull them out and figure out which one I will start in July. And I'll get that done. So that is my thought process anyway, as of now. I don't know what Whip Go may bring. Whip Go may be the exception. There are those 4 days at the end of the month. And so one day might be one Whip Go call, and one day may be another Whip Go call. So I may only have 2 days to start my new village ornament, but that still gives me time to get it started. So that's my thought. That's my thought at this point. So I'm encouraging you to do whatever you would like to do also for Christmas stitching in July. if you want to work on whips, if you want to just include some and not stitch only Christmas. I've had a couple of people say, I don't want to stitch only Christmas, but I am going to join you and do this. And that's fine too. That's absolutely fine. I've enjoyed hearing what you're going to do, so thanks for sharing that with me. Well, I'm going to go get some lunch. I've got some leftovers down in the fridge. I'm going to go heat them up and have lunch, and I will talk to you very soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Well, hello, I'm back again. I have a quick update to give you. I was able to get 106 stitches in my Haunted Mansion for my bingo call today. That catches me up on bingo. I'm excited about that. Here's Haunted Mansion. I've told you my woes about this. I picked the wrong count fabric. I picked a 32 count fabric and the beads are not fitting well on it, and so it's making me frustrated stitching it. And so I've decided I'm going to finish this one on the 32 count, and then I'm going to put it away for a while, and when I get ready to do the other two, I'll probably do them in a similar 28 count fabric, or I'll do them on the paper, one of the two. Since I'm not going to do them all on the same fabric, I might as well do the other two on the paper. Anyway, this is what I did today. I came across here, this little side had been stitched the dark gray, this side had not, so I started right here with that dark gray, and I stitched here, and I went across all the way across here, and then I went down all the way down here until it stopped right there. Then I came back up here and I stitched the two colors inside the window, and the blue around the window, and the blue under the house, and by the time you add all that up, it's 106 stitches. So what I've done effectively is I've completed all the stitching across this row minus beads. What's left in there now are beads. And then I started working down this side of the house. So that was kind of the path that I was following. And now that I've worked on it again, I think it's precious. I think it's cute. Anyway, I look forward to finishing it. So I am going to put it away now and decide what I'm going to stitch on for the rest of my evening or afternoon. And we'll hopefully come back and share that with you. If not tonight, since I'm Zooming late tonight, I'll share it with you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Saturday. It is the 15th of June, and I've got some stitching to share with you, touch of haul, and a little bit of an update, I guess, on some plans that have developed. So first, let's talk about stitching. Well, I've been working on this one for about... This is my third day today that I worked on this. I started working on it on the 13th and got 426 stitches in it on the 14th. And then yesterday I put in 873 stitches in it. And then today to finish it, I put another 211. I'm talking about Spring Awakens. This was my 7th and final goal I had set for myself for the month of June. And this is it. I've finished it. So I'm real excited to tell you that. So I will say too, if you'll notice in this picture before I put it away, this looks like it's a white cording of some kind. It's very thick and twisted. And I didn't have any of that. Almost looks like old-fashioned string. And so I just used my grits, Weeks Dye Works, floss, 4 strands to make mine. So it will look a little different. I had every called for color except one. I did not have the called for purple. It was Highland Heather. So the DMC equivalent of that is 3041. So that's what I used. But otherwise, I had the called for Weeks Dye Works or Gentle Art. I think one of them was Gentle Art, and then the one I didn't have was a Gentle Art. Otherwise, then I had DMC. So, because it called for several DMC. So I had all the called for colors but one, which is great. I did not use the called for fabric, but I did try to pick something that was similar, you know, in color, because I liked that light color. But I will tell you something. I have fallen in love with this guy's pants. They're so cute, and they were so fun to stitch, that little plaid. It was so cute. The last you saw this, I was working on the bunny, and I had said I wasn't sure I was going to come over and do all these vines and flowers because I wasn't sure I had enough room. But I had counted correctly in the first place. I count 2 or 3 times before I start a piece to try to make sure that I have enough room. You never know. Sometimes you're just off. But I was obviously doing pretty well the day that I counted this. This was a scrap that I had, just a scrap, and it was big enough I felt for an ornament. But as it turned out, I think it's going to make a great little pillow or a flat fold. Not sure which one I want to do. But anyway, gotta go shopping now for some really cute fabrics so that I can do whatever it is I'm going to do, whether it be a pillow or a flat fold. But there you have it. There is my spring Awakens. I think they're precious. Precious. Little bunny couple. So tickled to death to have that finished, and all 7 of my goals I set for myself finished. If you haven't been watching, or if you don't remember, I'll briefly tell you real quick what they were. I wanted to finish a block on Hawthorne Hollow. I did. I wanted to finish my June section on my Snow and Mountains, and I did. I wanted to finish a classic Christmas, the tree, the hands-on design piece, and I finished that. I wanted to finish Chubby B, which my friend Marissa had kitted up for us, and I did. And I had said originally I wanted to finish my Haunted Mansion, and then I came back and told you I was subbing out my Spring Awakens for that so I could stitch something a little more in season. I wanted to have a page finish on 13th Colony, and I did. I'm so excited. And I wanted to finish my 3 French Hens Berry that I do once a month, and that was the first thing I finished, I think, in the month of June. So those were huge for me. They were big things that I wanted to do, and I made it happen, and I'm tickled to death that that has happened. So now my friend Donna calls me this week, and she says, have you seen the Magazine Monthly Challenge pop-up challenge that they're going to do? And I said, no, I haven't been on social media today, but I've been stitching. She said, well, go read it because you need to do it. So I went and read it, and it is a pop-up challenge to help you pick up a piece you have been avoiding. And so you are to start on it tomorrow. You have, I believe, 5 days or to the 25th, something. I mean, you have several days to get these 500 stitches. And you're supposed to pick your piece that you have been avoiding the most. And they even talked about frogging. If you have to frog, then that's okay. Even if your after picture shows less stitching than your before stitching because you had to frog, that's okay. You get to count all the stitches you frogged, which is, I think, very unique and awesome to get us to pick back up a piece that we have been frustrated with or have put in timeout or whatever. And I think you, if you've watched any of my prior videos where I've talked about Haunted Mansion, that I'm frustrated with it simply because of my mistake. I picked a 32 count fabric that I thought would be beautiful, and it is beautiful, and the piece looks great on it, except for one thing. It's a Mill Hill kit. It's charted for 28 count, and the beads that they supply you assume that you're using 28 count fabric and that you're going to have room for everything. And on 32 count fabric, you don't. The beads don't play nice. And so I've been having to jockey the beads around, leave one out here and there and yonder, figure out where I can put them and where I can't. And that just takes a lot of brain power, and it slows you down. And this is one of those Mill Hill kits, so there's a lot of beads. So this is happening over and over and over again for me. And so I have avoided it. I've avoided stitching on it, and I've put it in my acrostics, and I've put it on my bingo board, but on bingo board, you know, I only have to stitch 100 stitches. And if you go back and look, you'll see whenever it's called, that's all I do. I only do 100 stitches. So it was called this month, just a couple of days ago, and I only stitched 106 stitches. That was it. And that was just to finish the color. You know, those extra 6 stitches finished out a color in that section. So that's why I did it. So thinking really hard about it, I told my friend Donna, I said, okay, now I will start on that. I will at least put 500 stitches in Haunted Mansion this month, just to push it forward, since there's a challenge for it anyway, for something you've been avoiding. So I get to participate in the challenge, which is great. So Carolyn and Robin, great idea. Great idea. I really like it. I hope you'll do it again sometime. And it's actually making me pick up a piece that I was avoiding so desperately that I substituted the goal for it for another piece. So I definitely think it meets your criteria of piece I was avoiding. So there you have that. So today, I mentioned today was Saturday, the 15th of June. Today, a online vendor near us, Celtic Sisters Cross Stitch, had a pop-up sale. They rented a conference room at a hotel in Kennesaw, Georgia, and they had a pop-up sale. And since they had this big conference room, or meeting room, they put tables in there so you could sit and stitch as well. But my friend Juliana was very kind and thoughtful when she invited me to go with her. She knew that I needed to get home without too much, too long a day because of Coco, because my husband's not here today, and he wasn't here to take care of Coco. So we went. Juliana and I drove to Kennesaw. It's about an hour away, and hour and a half with traffic. And so we got down there, we shopped, we had lunch together, and we came home. And I was gone just at 4 hours, so that worked out well. Coco did really well, but she was ready for her walk early tonight. She didn't want to wait till it cooled down, so we wound up taking a walk at 8:30 this morning and then another one at 5:30 this afternoon. And she's going to want another one. She is. When it gets nice and cool, she's going to want to go again. She's being clever. So let me show you what I got today. Just in the spirit of, if you would like to order from Kathy, feel free to do so. She's online, Celtic Sisters Needlework. This is an atomic ranch fabric that is called Latte, and I have got a 32 count Lugana. And I'm going to get it back here until I feel like you're at the right color. There you go. It is a pale pinkish modeling. It's a nice neutral, but has a pink tint to it. And then this is a Barefoot Needlearts fabric, and it is Lugana 32 count, and it's modeled, it's a little more modeled, and it has a purplish tint to it, but it's still quite a neutral, but with a purplish tint. So I think that's really pretty. And then I found this Friendly Blooms pattern. This is by Robin Sample of October House Needlearts, and I just thought that was pretty, and I like blue. Blue's my favorite color, so I thought I need to keep that. That will make a great gift for a friend or an exchange or something like that. So I wanted to get that and put it in my stash. So that's my haul. Had a really good time shopping today. Got to see a lot of friends there, especially a group that I had stitched with before that work on Hawk Run Hollows together. And of course, I have one on the go, so I would take it and stitch on it with them, but I haven't been able to be there in a little while. A lot of traveling and stuff, but I hope to get back with them soon. So I mentioned my stash. And I may have told you this already in a previous video that I have been tempted to start going through my stash and looking for things I want to stitch next year. And I was trying to figure out why I was being tempted to do that so early in the year. And then I realized two things happened. One, I have stitched a lot this year, and I have finished a lot that I had on my bingo board. I finished them. And so when they were called, I couldn't stitch on them. I had to just color them in. I only have 4 things left on my bingo board that I haven't done. I'm sorry, my whip go board. I apologize. I'm talking about whip go. I only have 4 spots remaining that haven't already been done, and they're 4 new starts. So at some point in the year between now and December, those 4 will get called. I have no idea when they will be called, but they're kitted and ready to go. But that's only 4. And so when I think about what new starts I have for the rest of the year, I don't have a whole lot planned. You know, I have a couple for July, for Christmas in July. And then I would have like a birthday start and maybe a New Year's Eve start. And that's about it. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard on finishing things that I have gotten down to the point where I have nothing but large projects left. This was my last small. So I have retreats coming, and I'm gonna need some smalls to take with me. So I've decided to look back through my stash and find things I could take with me. So that's what I did, and now I have actually kitted up 9 new things, and the sad thing is they're not all smalls. They're not all smalls. Some of them are medium, and you might say one of them is a large. So not a BAP, but a large. So anyway, I had fun doing it. I had so much fun. I got a wonderful gift from my friend Melody when she came in and brought me a whole bag full of patterns to look through. And the ones I picked to keep for myself, I needed to integrate into my stash. And so that necessitated me pulling out all of my drawers of patterns and integrating these new patterns into the right categories. Christmas, 4th of July, sewing room, themed, that kind of thing. And so I did that, and while I was doing it is when I picked these 9 things to go ahead and kit up and have in reserve. So there you have it. I have those in reserve. Some of them are parts of series that I've started before, that I've mentioned to you before. And some were just new things that I wanted to stitch, and they've been sitting over there waiting. And so now I'm starting them, which is great. So I don't know when I'll start any of them. I just have them ready. But I think for me, I just needed to scratch that itch. I needed to go shopping in my stash. I needed to see what was there and what did I want to plan, at least for next year, if not before. So that's a good thing. My friend Juliana today, I was telling her what I did, and she says, you're going to start every one of them before the end of the year. She may be right, who knows. I just might. If I need them for a prompt or if I need them for some sort of challenge, I probably will, but that's okay. All right, well, that's the stitching, and that's my shopping, my bit of an update on what I've been doing in my craft room. And so now I am going to celebrate my finish by going and having my supper. And then I have to get busy in here and stitch my 100 stitches into my bingo call for today, because today's call was for stitching on something that is going to be a gift. And I need to pull out my December quilt that's for my friend Cheryl, and I need to put at least 100 stitches in it. So that's my plan for after dinner. In the meantime, I hope you've had a great Saturday, and I hope you're getting a lot of stitching done. Happy stitching, everybody.